Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Hot Corner. I am your host, Mike Wolfgang, and thank you for tuning in for the first edition of this show. Before we begin, let me just give you a quick rundown. It'll be a quick review of everything that's going on around the major leagues, like scores, news, and anything else that's going on. There will be MLB trivia questions to get you listeners thinking, and the correct answer will be announced on the following show. We will try our best to provide content for you several times over the course of a week, so without any further ado, let's get started with the trivia question here. This year's All-Star Game is going to be hosted at Coors Field in Denver. The city previously hosted the All-Star Game one time. What was that year that it was hosted previously? So think about that one, and then we'll announce it on the next show. So let's move on to some scores from yesterday from around the major leagues. Oakland defeated Texas 4-1. The Astros beat the Yankees 8-7. The Cincinnati Reds defeated the Milwaukee Brewers 3-1, and Miami beat Atlanta 7-4. Toronto avoided a sweep by the Tampa Bay Rays, beating them by a score of 3-1. The Phillies over the Red Sox 5-4. My Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the New York Mets 6-5 in a comeback fashion, splitting the four-game series with the Mets. The White Sox beat the Orioles 7-5 in 10 innings. Minnesota defeated Detroit 12-9, also in extra innings. San Francisco took down Washington. The LA Dodgers defeated the Arizona Diamondbacks 7-4. The Diamondbacks are currently 40 games under 500 at the All-Star break. Colorado defeated San Diego 3-1, and the Angels beat the Seattle Mariners 7-1. There were two postponed games yesterday. Kansas City and Cleveland was postponed, and then the second one was St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. Just a quick look at the standings as we reach the midway point with the All-Star break coming up tonight. The Boston Red Sox currently lead the AL East over the Tampa Bay Rays. The White Sox have an 8-game lead over the Cleveland Indians. In the AL West, we have the Houston Astros in first place, and the Oakland Athletics are the second-place team, being 3.5 games back. As we look at the NL West, we have the Dodgers 2 games behind the San Francisco Giants, who may be the most surprising team of this first half of the season. In the NL Central, we have the Milwaukee Brewers in first place, with the Cincinnati Reds 4 games back in second place, and then we have the Chicago Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals both 8 games back. Lastly, in the National League East, we have the New York Mets in first place, with the Philadelphia Phillies trailing in second place by 3.5 games. The Atlanta Braves are 4 games out in third place. And some of these teams at the bottom of this division still have a chance. We have the Washington Nationals at 6 games back in fourth place, and the Miami Marlins coming off a playoff berth last year, who are 9 games back in last place in the division. So as I mentioned, we have the All-Star break coming up. Things are kicking off tonight with the Home Run Derby. I drew up my own personal bracket of how I think things are going to go, so I just had a little fun with it. First matchup, we have Shohei Ohtani of the Angels going up against Juan Soto of the Nationals. I picked Shohei Ohtani to win this matchup. He's a hot pick in the Home Run Derby, and to win it all, so I'm going to go with him to get out of the first round. Then we have Salvador Perez and Pete Alonso in the second half of that side of the bracket. I'm going to go with Pete Alonso. He's the defending champ. He was hot in the last appearance we had in the Home Run Derby in Cleveland. So I'm going to go with that pick. On the next side of the bracket, we have Joey Gallo of the Rangers and Trevor Story, the hometown kid of the Colorado Rockies. I'm going to go with Trevor Story in that matchup. I like to pick the hometown people in these matchups because it often works out. We've had multiple guys in the past win the Home Run Derby in their home stadium, so I'm going to go with Trevor Story. Then we have Matt Olson of the Oakland Athletics versus Trey Mancini of the Baltimore Orioles. I'm going to go with Matt Olson. I think he can make somewhat of a run in this Home Run Derby. So in the second round, I have Ohtani and Alonso going off against each other. I'm going to go with Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to continue the hot hand. Then on the other side, we have Trevor Story and Matt Olson. I'm going to go with Trevor Story. As I mentioned, I like to pick the hometown heroes in these tournaments. So that brings us to a finals matchup of Shohei Ohtani and Trevor Story. I'm going to go with Trevor Story. As I mentioned, there's a history of these guys winning this tournament in their home stadium, so I'm going to go with Trevor Story. So then tomorrow night we have the All-Star Game, so stay tuned for that. We'll cover more of that on the next show. That's going to do it for today. So thank you for joining in for the first episode. Make sure to look out for more episodes of this show and also the Casual Sports Podcast hosted by myself, Alec Caberna, and Matthew Morrison that comes out on Wednesday afternoons. So that'll do it for today. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll have more shows coming your way. Thanks.